Hello everyone. Up till now in this set of videos related to sensor programming, we have seen how the sensors are made. We have seen the general structure of sensor program. We have talked about connection of sensor with Curio Fireboard, and we have also spoken about calibration of sensor. And now we will write our first sensor program. We will take a situation where we want to control the robot movement using a light sensor. And what we want? When the light sensor encounters light, the robot should move. And if there is no light, then the robot should stop. So that is our condition. Now let's remember the general structure of sensor program. It says RSCA, read, store, control, act. And for storing, we need a variable. So let's first create a variable. And we will define a variable in the declaration area. So int senval. So I have defined a variable senval. Int is the type of variable. Why? Because I am expecting the value of sensor as 1 or 0, which are integers. Now read. We know we use digital read. And we are going to use the pin A0 because we are connected our sensor to sensor/servo1 pins. Now we have read the value and it needs to be stored in a variable. So senval is equal to digital read A0 and semicolon here. R and S is done. Now is C. Compare. For comparison, we will use if and else. It's a new construct which we are going to learn here. When we use if, we are talking about a condition and we are comparing that condition. If that condition is true, then we are performing certain action, and if it is not true, it is false, we are going to perform certain other action. The syntax of if is if and then in normal bracket the condition. If that condition is true, we need to write that action and which is written inside these two curly brackets. And if the condition is false, we use else and write the action for that inside these two curly brackets. So what we are doing here, it is if, and here we are going to write the condition. And if that condition is true, then that action will be written here. Else, we'll write else. If the condition is false, we will write the action here. Now if you check here that the condition is written only once, because one condition will have always two results, true or false. If it is true, that's here action. If it is false, action here. It's going to be condition here, whatever is condition. And here I will say it's action true. When condition is true, action here. And here it is action false. That's the general syntax of if else. And if you remember the for loop, in for loop we had three statements inside it. We initialized a variable there. Here we already have a variable and which we are going to use it. So we are going to check against this variable. Then there was a condition. That's what is here. And then we had an increment. In if else construct, every time we do not have to increment something. Sometimes if we have to increment, we will have to use that as a part of our action true or action false statements. Please note that if else is not a loop. It is performed only once. And because we have written it's in loop, it will be performed again and again. But if we have written this inside setup, it will be performed only once. So this is not a loop, whereas the for was a loop. So that's a few, I would say, similarities and differences between for and if. Now let's come back to our program. So what is the condition we want? We've said that if the sensor is sensing light, then we should go forward. Sensing light. We remember that if sensor senses light, it gives us the value 0. So if senval equal to 0. Now why equal to? If you see here we have written only single equal to sign. Here we have given two equal to signs. The reason for that is here we are assigning this value to this sensor, whereas here we are checking if that value is 0. So to give an example, let's assume you are in school and you have houses in your school. And let's say when you join the school first time, I'm going to tell you your houses. So I tell, okay, Abhinav, you are in house red. Now this is where I'm assigning that house to Abhinav. So the value of the house is assigned. And that's where we will use this equal to sign. So I'm assigning it. Now, let's say he goes to a PE class, physical education class, and there the teacher asks, okay, so Abhinav, are you from red house? So what's happening? He's checking whether Abhinav is from red house. And when we are checking, we use double equal to just to distinguish it from the equal to. So this is assignment and this is comparison. So whenever we are using condition, it should be comparison. This is a general mistake we do. We don't write double equal to, we write it equal to 0 here, and the program does not throw syntax error. We upload the program and we see that it is not behaving the way we want. The reason is that we have not used a comparison operator, but we have used an assignment operator. Okay, so if the senval, the value of the sensor value is equal to 0, then action true. What we want? We want the robot to go forward. So if I'm using a function module, use that forward 255, 255. Please note that you will use the function module if you have those function modules already written. If not, then you will have to write the complete 6 statements for forward command. So for time being, I'm just writing forward, assuming that I have that function module. Okay. So forward, and if it is not 0, if it is 1, what should I do? I should stop the vehicle. Way stop. Okay. There is one small thing which we have forgotten here is that whenever we connect a device to any of the Arduino pins, we need to set the pin mode of that pin. So here we have to set pin mode of A0. And what should be pin mode of A0? A0 is used to connect a sensor. Sensor is an input device. It is going to give us the value. So the pin mode is going to be input. So that's the program, very basic program for sensor. This program, the robot is going to move forward. If it senses light, it's going to stop if it does not sense light. We have used the general structure. We have read the value. We have assigned the value, stored the value in this variable. We have compared the value, and we have performed actions based on the result of comparison. So we have followed our structure: read, store, compare, act. And for storing the value, we needed a variable which we have defined it here. I hope you have understood this program. Please upload this program and use your mobile torch. You throw the torch light on the LDR of your light sensor, the robot will start moving. You remove that light from there, the robot will stop.